I have made so many videos on how you should stop scrolling and get off social media and how to spend less time on social media and on your phone. And if you have clicked on this video, you've probably seen videos like that and quit social media. Or maybe you've quit social media before and you just keep finding yourself going back to it. Sort of after making the video about how you can spend less time on your phone, I got a lot of comments saying like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do after I've quit social media? What steps should I take to improve my life? Because when you have all this time on your hands and you don't actually know what to do, it is really easy just to go back to scrolling. And I know for a lot of you guys, it's probably so difficult to just try to be resisting temptation and you have nothing else to do. And the more I think about it, the video that I made about spending less time on your phone and all of that, that's really just treating the symptom. It's not actually the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that people don't have direction. They don't know what to do. They don't have purpose. They don't know which habits to build. And there is really no guide to what you should do after you quit. And it's not like even when I quit, I was super productive. There were many times where I would fall back, where I would find myself somehow like scrolling on YouTube Shorts or something through like the Safari browser. It's just difficult to really get away from it if you don't have anything to replace it with. If you don't really have anything to replace scrolling, then it's going to be very hard to stay away from it. This is the real problem, and this is why I'm making this video. If you lack direction, even if you do want to quit, it doesn't really matter because there's nothing stopping you from going back to it. If you do want to like lower your screen time and not spend as much time on your phone, you shouldn't obsessively think about all the different like settings and so like tricks so that you don't spend as much time on your phone. It should really be that you should find other things that you actually enjoy doing and want to grow in your life and just do those things instead. So what is the first step to finding direction? The first step to finding direction is to set goals. And not just setting goals, because I could tell you like, oh, just go set goals and that's gonna fix everything, guys. And I know that's not true. Goals are actually pretty much useless unless there's some direction and purpose behind it. Two things that I kind of started to do when I got into self-improvement was I started to read and journal. And one of the first books that I ever read was a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book was like my guidebook. It helped me find direction. It had certain tools that were very useful, and it shaped my mindset around self-improvement. But the section of the book that really impacted me the most was the section called Begin with the End in Mind. Basically what this is saying is you need to know where you're trying to go, the destination that you want to get to, so that you actually have the right direction, so that you're chasing the right goals. Because you know for a fact there are so many people out there that do have goals. They have things that they want to do and things that they're trying to chase, but they're not actually fulfilling for them. There's probably so many like Asian kids out there that are wanting to become doctors and they have the goal of becoming an amazing doctor, but the only reason they're doing that is because their parents told them that they have to and that they should. And what it takes a lot of at first is just you thinking about it. I'll link below a tool that is from the Stephen Covey website, which is the author of the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there's a tool there that kind of gets you to write out and think about your direction. It has you like write a mission statement, asks you like what are you good at, what do you want to do, like all of these different questions revolving around you. And I do think the best habit for this is journaling, and reading is also very helpful to kind of morph and change your mindset. You just have to figure out, where do you want to go? What do you really care about? This is my first journal that I ever wrote in. And the first entry, which was almost 2 years ago at this point, I said, I've been thinking a lot about self-improvement and there's so much that I want to improve about myself, but I never try to improve. And I said, I really want to start now so that I can be where I want to be in the future. Hopefully I'm able to make significant change and that I can grow my knowledge. Here's a list of what I want to improve. So I thought about what I wanted to improve and where I wanted to go. And most of these things are really good and I still care a lot about them today. Obviously some of the things I wrote down I didn't actually want and they weren't actually the things that I was going to do anyways. But the ones that I wrote down that have stayed with me are health, fitness, my sleep, reading, journaling, meditation, and going on walks, how much time I'm spending like on my phone and on the internet and stuff, and reducing that, making money, learning, and growing knowledge. Some of the things that are less important to me now, because I was thinking still a lot about college then, was like getting a job or like learning about possible careers. And I also didn't know about YouTube at this time. I didn't know that that was going to be my purpose. And before I get into purpose and like your unique desire and the career that you might want to go down based on your unique desire, I just want to talk about the habits that are undoubtedly good. These are the things that you definitely should be doing, and there is absolutely no argument to not do it. And I think we all kind of know these things, and you can start to sort of set goals on them and start working towards them right now. The first one, which is pretty obvious and we all know, exercise is so important. If you aren't going to the gym right now, like the first place that every single guy starts with self-improvement is in the gym. We all do kind of have that dream physique where we're like, I wish I would look like that. Like I do want to look like that. And that is achievable. It just takes you going to the gym, working hard, lifting weights, and actually starting to exercise and work out. out. Working out was actually what I considered to be my purpose for a long time in the very beginning of my self-improvement journey. And that's completely fine if that's what it is for you as well. Making that progress in the gym and working hard, it felt so good. And the gym isn't even just about building muscle or getting girls. Even those things are good about the gym. It also helps you build community. You'll find friends in the gym that you get to see every day, and you're so happy to be able to like work out with them. You start to actually like enjoy that feeling of like pain and going to failure. And what that does, and like what that consistency does, it builds so much discipline, and that transfers over to other things. It's one of those things. Working out and exercise, it just improves everything in your life. And this goes for most of the things in this like list of habits and things that you should definitely be doing, because there's no argument against it. It only can benefit you if you exercise. And the second thing that you definitely should be doing is meditating. I know you might think that, you know, your mental health's completely fine. Like, you don't have to do anything. I think a lot of people will just say and like cope and say that meditation's cringe, it doesn't do anything, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, meditation is the practice of you not only just bettering your mental health, but it's you becoming more in control, or just more aware of your thoughts and emotions. And what it does is that in every single situation where either your emotions get the better of you, or you let some thought grow that isn't actually good for you. If you are having like those negative thoughts and you're really like spiraling whenever you think about them, and you're like, yeah, maybe I'm not really good at this. Like, why can't I talk to girls? Why can't I do this? And meditation directly helps with you basically just forgetting about those thoughts. When they pop up, you let it pass. And whenever you're feeling really angry or something, you're able to kind of like sit in that feeling and be aware of it and not react to it. In that book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the biggest things that I took away that I think I'm going to try to follow for the rest of my life is that you should always respond rather than react. Whether it's a thought or an emotion, you shouldn't react to it. And meditation is that practice of not reacting in a very negative way, but responding. And so when anything bad happens in your life, or maybe even anything tragic, you're prepared to respond in the right way and not react in the wrong way. And doing this every day will make your mental health so much more stable, will make you so much happier and more grateful. But that presence and that mindfulness, it helps you to respond rather than react. And that obviously improves your relationships. Every single conversation that you have is going to be better. You're going to be more there for every single conversation, for every person, and you're going to be able to make every single decision that you actually do want to do rather than reacting to your thoughts and emotions. You actually make the right choice. It's like a mental fortification. And if you think about it, that's probably one of the most masculine things, to just be able to be more in control. Whenever a thought or an emotion that's very powerful and very strong comes up in your body or in your mind, you are able to not let it control you. You're able to respond in the right way. That is a very, very powerful skill that will help you in every area of your life. Something else that we all know is very good and that we all know we should be doing, and even I struggle with this. This is probably the thing that I struggle with the most to be consistent with, and it's reading. We all know that reading is insanely valuable. Like, if you think about it, what reading really is getting all the most important knowledge from someone else's entire lifetime about something. You are literally getting the distilled, like pure gold from somebody's mind, like someone's whole career and lifetime of knowledge in one book that you can literally read in a month. And yet most of us only read in school. There's been so many times in school where like people are just like, yeah, I haven't read a book in like 3 years. I only read in school. And it just kind of sucks, because I feel like school teaches you to not really like learning, but you should be a lifelong learner. And reading is probably the best way to get the most valuable knowledge. Something else that you definitely should be practicing, not just through writing, but also just in conversation, is gratitude. There is like so much in our lives to be grateful for, and if you would just think about it and write about it a little bit, you'd be so much happier and better off for life. Every single day, I just try to write in my journal about things that I'm grateful for. I like to gratitude journal every morning. And today I was just like, I'm grateful for the morning sunlight. I always feel so much better after I go outside and get sunlight. And I'm also grateful for literally just being able to walk. Like, imagine when you're older and you're crippled and you can't walk anymore, how much you would like pay to be able to walk again. You'd probably pay so much money. And right now you can literally just walk and like run outside and stuff. And when you think about all these kind of small things that you usually take for granted, and you think about how amazing it is that you have this and how you should be really grateful for it, it makes you so much happier and appreciate all the things in life. It sounds kind of wishy-washy and like, oh, you're grateful for being able to walk, you're grateful for like your hands. But yeah, of course I am. Think about the people that don't have this stuff. Think about the old people that can't do the stuff that we do. Gratitude is usually just about the lens that you're looking through, the perspective that you have. And when you like try these different perspectives, and when you really sit down and write about what you're grateful for, like it might be just 3 things a day that you write down you're grateful for, and you'll find that there's just so much that you're thankful for. I think there's been studies that just show how this makes you way happier. It improves like the quality of your life so much, because what we usually usually don't do is we don't practice gratitude. We take things for granted. And just like mindfulness and like meditation and practicing gratitude, it's this skill that you develop more and more. And over time, this just compounds. The days where I don't meditate and don't gratitude journal, I feel worse. Like I know for a fact that if I would have done it, I would have felt better throughout the entire day. And so these are all long-term things, right? With lifting, you're not going to just lift for 3 days and then suddenly have an amazing physique. It takes years and years and years and really hard work. But that's why all these things are worth it. That's why all these delayed gratification activities are worth it. Start practicing that gratitude. It is very important. One of the last just great habits that you should be focusing on is your health and your diet. So there's just so much in our modern diets that are terrible for us, and they make you feel worse. Obviously, physically, you're going to perform worse, whether it's in a sport or just like every single day with your energy. But your mental capacity is being drained by junk food, by these terrible things that are put in our modern diets. And I think when you start eating clean and trying to eat more whole foods and trying to really improve your diet, there's a lot that you just start to learn. Again, like all the other things, your whole life improves. And there is so much to health. There's so many little things to learn. Like if you listen to Andrew Huberman's podcast, the Huberman Lab podcast, there's just so much information that's so helpful for like our modern lives that have a lot of things in there that really are terrible for us. And there's just a lot you can implement, like getting morning sunlight is such a powerful tool. It seems so small, but it helps with your sleep and your mood and your mental health. There are little things like cold showers that you think, oh, there's not that many benefits, but then it's like you look into it and it actually is really amazing. It releases dopamine, you feel so much better afterwards, it builds discipline. Getting into like improving your diet and just in general improving your health and learning more about that, either obviously through reading, or I really like listening to podcasts now and like long form videos. This is like a big area that will improve your life so much when you start to learn more about not like the life hacks, but more just what you can remove from your life. This is such like a good area to start learning in and implementing like things that are going to improve your health so much for the long term. And so those are the habits that you should really be working on no matter what. There is no excuse for it. This is what you should fill a lot of your time with. And something you really should do is to create a habit tracker. I honestly just recently did this a couple months ago. I didn't do this before. It's my habit tracker. You just open up a Google sheet and you like write down the habits that you want to do and like the days of the month, and you just like print out a month habit tracker every single time a new month rolls around, and you just check off every single day like which habits you did. For me, I have like the gym on there, I have morning sunlight, meditation, cold showers. Like there's a lot of things that if you were to just do every single day would take up a lot of your time, and they're super beneficial for you. But even though these things are really good, you're not going to fill up your entire day and all the time that's like left in your day after quitting social media and scrolling with like lifting and meditation and reading. It helps a lot, but there's still time in your day to be spent doing something else. I think the most difficult thing to actually start figuring out and start doing is building your purpose and really finding it. Because out of everything else, I would say this is the thing that most people are missing. They kind of drift through their life for so many years and they don't really figure out what they love doing. But first, like, what is purpose? Purpose is your unique desire. It's the thing that you've probably always loved to do since you were a kid. There's no reason behind it. It wasn't because it made you money or anything. You just loved it and thought it was important. I would say I got really lucky with this because I started YouTube not right when I started self-improvement. I didn't find it yet. When I did, there was not really much thought behind it. I was thinking, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be my purpose. I got lucky because two things that I've always loved doing, or that I've always kind of liked doing and been good at, is one, writing. For me, my favorite subject has always been English. I've always liked creating that story and using words to articulate exactly what I want to say. And I've always been good at it as well. And that's a big part of YouTube. It's scripting, creating the story in the video. And what I've also always liked doing is just giving advice. I love giving one-on-one advice and like telling it in a way that would help the other person and trying to figure out, how do I perfectly articulate this so that someone actually improves because of what I tell them? How do I like give really good advice? And I've always enjoyed doing that in those one-on-one conversations. And what's crazy about YouTube is this is basically like a one-on-one conversation with thousands of people. And so I've been able to like use the things that I've always actually enjoyed. And so YouTube includes those things that I just have always enjoyed. They're big parts of YouTube. And that's kind of where I got lucky, is because I didn't think about that. I didn't think about like, what did I really love doing in my childhood? What was my unique purpose? I just kind of found YouTube and it fit my unique purpose. This is not easy. Building your purpose and finding, how do I turn this into a career, or how do I like really even find what I loved doing when I was a child? You have to dig deep and search for those memories, search for those times, the thing that you are naturally drawn to. And I know right now you might be thinking like, I don't know what that is. I don't have that, but I guarantee you do. It's just that you've either forgotten about it or you haven't thought about this ever. It could be physically related. Like it could be you just love doing sports. It could be related to language, like you love speaking like I do and giving advice. And what you have to do is, I think, deeply journal and think about, what is it that I actually just intrinsically am drawn towards. And then it's about figuring out how can you turn that into like a career? How can you monetize it and bring other people like value through it? And I think there are great ways to do that with like certain business types, with YouTube especially, if you just want to share what you love doing. Maybe you do just love sports and you want to like share your experiences with like playing sports and getting better. And maybe you're making videos on like drills, or maybe you love lifting and you're making videos just like lifting vlogs or something like that. And that is how you can turn it into a career and like a purpose and a mission. And then it's like you can have that big goal. For me, it would probably just be hitting 1 million subscribers. That is my big goal that I'm chasing. But when you don't know what the thing is and you don't really have an idea about how you could turn it into a purpose, there's gonna be that sort of void, something missing. Because while all the habits that you could do that are really good for you and like that you definitely should be doing, those aren't gonna give you purpose. There is purpose behind it. There's a reason to do those things, but it's not like that intrinsic thing that you're just drawn towards, that you want to chase. This is one of those things about self-improvement that's probably like the biggest part of it, and it's very hard to tell someone exactly how you'd be able to find your purpose, how you'd be able to build like that mission and that big goal that you're working towards, because it's not simple. It's probably one of the most difficult things because you have to really think about it. And if you just distract yourself and go back to scrolling and whatever it might be, playing video games as well, that will also distract you from this, from thinking about what your purpose might be, from going deeper, to actually take that time. And I think journaling is the best way to do it, to really dig deep into your thoughts. What is the thing that you're intrinsically drawn towards? And then once you figure that out, how can you actually turn that into a purpose, into a career? Because obviously like your career, the way you make money, that's the main thing you're going to be doing. And if you can build a career based on something that you love and that you're already intrinsically motivated to do, bro, everything is just going to be so much easier and you're going to love doing it. Like I said, this is the thing most people are missing. Obviously, many people are missing the delayed gratification activities, like it might be working out or lifting or reading or learning, but purpose is what gives you the most fulfillment. From my self-improvement journey, YouTube and making these videos and just chasing, how do I become a better leader? How do I help my people more? How do I make more progress? Like that has been the most fulfilling and fun thing. And it's probably made me improve the most. It's just because I love doing it. It makes me feel alive. I'm in a flow state, and you just have to find that for yourself. What is that priority that you're just drawn towards naturally and that you want to just dive into and chase? It takes serious thought, and the distractions will distract you from actually doing that. So you cannot go back to scrolling. You have to deeply think about this. Even if it means you're going to be bored, even if it means you have to do it for hours and hours, if the 3 hours of journaling that you do and you actually figure out something that you want to do, your purpose, those 3 hours would have saved you years and years of your life from being wasted after going back to scrolling, back to TikTok, back to all these instant pleasures that bring you nothing. So that is exactly what you should do after you stop scrolling. Start implementing those good habits and tracking them and actually trying to be consistent with them, because that will put you on the right path. It will allow you to start thinking about what your purpose might be. Because if you just fall back to that same thing, those same habits of scrolling, and not trying to improve your life or your health in any way, it's going to be so hard to find purpose, because purpose is on the path of self-improvement. So if you fall off that, or if you're not looking for it, that's going to be impossible to find it. And when you start scrolling and distracting yourself, it's literally impossible to be looking for your purpose, which means you're never going to find it. So the first step is to really implement those good habits of diet and eating right and focusing on improving your health, on exercise and lifting, on reading and gratitude journaling and expressing gratitude and mindfulness and meditation. Those are all such amazing things. And I think they're honestly the gateway into you finding your purpose. And something that I forgot to mention in those habits is journaling, even though I did talk about it multiple times and how you should be doing it more. And also gratitude journaling is a type of journaling, but just taking the time to really go deep, that's when your true purpose will emerge. And it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it. Because when you find that thing, that is the most fulfilling thing that you can do, and you just like get into that flow state, you love doing it, even if not all of it is super enjoyable. It just becomes this like concrete part of your life that nobody could get rid of even if they tried. And when you develop like a passion and a love for something like that, bro, you make so much progress because you just care about it and you want to keep doing it. So use that link to the Stephen Covey website, start figuring out about maybe the direction you want to go in, create a habit tracker and start getting on those good habits, and start journaling and thinking deeply about what your purpose might be and how you could build it into a career or the thing that you're mainly doing in your life, because that's what's going to be most fulfilling. That's what's improved my life the most, and it's just so worth it in the end. And since you've already quit scrolling and you're trying to get away from instant gratification, stay on this path and never stop improving, because you're going to be grateful for it later.